Sophie Wright and we're here today at the BBC Good Food Show and I'm working with French goat's cheese. Our strapline is Easy Cheesy Chèvre. We love cooking with French goat's cheese. There's absolutely hundreds of thousands of different varieties of French goat's cheese available. France is the biggest producer of French goat's cheese. They come from mild to strong, small to big, hard to soft. There's so many different varieties and I've been showing our punters here today a few different ways of working with French goat's cheese.
The fish cake goat's cheese recipe that Sophie demonstrated was really helpful because it made it look really simple and easy to do at home.
The French goat's cheese was fantastic. I didn't realise there was so much variety in it. I'd love to go to that part of France and try everything they've got to offer. It was amazing.
We've chosen a selection of French goat's cheeses here to show off here in Birmingham. Everything from the really fresh to some of our most traditional French goat's cheese styles. This is the first one we try. It's the fresh goat's cheese. It is barely cheese at all. It's got so much yogurt flavour, so much lemon. It's so light and bright. It's a gorgeous cheese. The next cheese that we're showing people is the French goat's cheese log. This is the most common type of goat's cheese people. In fact, when people think of goat's cheese, they normally think of something like this. This is a wonderful cheese for cooking with, and it's a cheese that visitors are most familiar with. But this one really holds its texture in when you cook with it, which means it's a great carrier for flavors like basil, herbs de Provence, or sun-dried tomato, and makes it really good for canapes. There's no question that France is the center of goat's cheese production. It does the most volume, but it also has great history. We've got three really interesting goat's cheeses, and I'm going to go back in time. Firstly, we've got what we're calling here a modern camembert. This is one of the most innovative cheeses that we have here. The French goat's cheese makers are still creating new cheeses even now. This one uses a method called ultrafiltration where they're drawing out the water without curdling. Now that means we get more of the goodies from the French goat's cheese milk into the cheese, and it gives a lovely velvety texture in the mouth. The next cheese, going a step back, this is a classic camembert but made with the French goat's cheese milk. This one is descended from the Chèvre, which is from the Loire, and the Loire French goat's cheese makers looked north and saw the camembert boys thinking, we'll try it that way. So they used the Penicillium camemberti, and on French goat's milk, the effect is almost this stunning liquid texture. It's got a little more saltiness, a little more punch. It's an absolutely delicious cheese. When it comes to French goat's cheese, this one has great heritage. Now this comes from the town of Chèvre. The Chèvre is a tributary of the Loire, and it's got this wonderful, really soft coat, and underneath there's a liquid cream sitting on a mousse-like texture of the remainder of the cheese. This is an icon of French goat's cheese making. It's an amazing cheese. This obviously is one of the traditional Saint-Maur de Touraine, one of the 5 AOP cheeses from the Loire. And what they love about this is you can really see the heritage of this French goat's cheese. If I pull this apart, there we go, we can see the straw that the French goat's cheese makers use to hold the cheese together when the cheese is very young. The Saint-Maur de Touraine is a very old cheese, and it's probably the ancestor of the French goat's cheese log, which we are very familiar with today. But it's still tasting fantastic. Now this is a little golf ball of a cheese, and it can be eaten at anything from 11 days right up to 6 months. This is the real workhorse of French goat's cheese making, traditionally. The famous crottin is the crottin de Chavignols, which is a very small village that sits under the hill of Sancerre. But this cheese is in fact made all over France. This is a crottin de paix. In the way you have vin de paix, this is a usable, everyday cheese.
It's been so wonderful to see so many people here at the BBC Good Food Show this year enjoying French goat's cheese and what it has to offer. I think we've actually managed to convert quite a few people, and they've actually made the decision that they will be buying French goat's cheese, they will be cooking with it, they will be putting it on their cheese boards, and it is something that they're going to introduce their friends and family to. So fingers crossed we'll see them back here next year at the French goat's cheese stand, and they can be telling us all about French goat's cheese, about their experience with it, and that they'll be sharing it with their friends and family.